Okay, hello guys, and with just 48 hours until we get our first sneak peek at this year's Doctor Who Christmas special, well, the first preview clip of the episode at least, because we've already had trailers earlier this year about the Christmas special back at San Diego Comic-Con. Well, obviously today David Bradley had spoken to Doctor Who magazine as the issue 519 had finally come out, with a big interview with David Bradley, who's playing the first Doctor for this particular episode. Obviously, he was involved with the docudrama the last time we saw him playing William Hartnell for that 50th anniversary docudrama that Mark Gatiss had written for the 50th anniversary. Well, interestingly enough, along with this interview, we had two new pictures from the episode itself, as well as some character photos as well. They showed off character photos of David Bradley as the first Doctor, as well as the actress who's playing Ben and Polly are also featured in these images. As you can see, this image right here resembles the scene of where the Doctor talks about it's far from being all over from the 10th planet, which pretty much confirms reimagined scenes from the 10th planet will be indeed in this episode, which pretty much makes it, we can pretty much assume we're going to see the first Doctor regeneration in this episode somewhere, which is going to be really cool to finally get to see how see a modern day version of the first Doctor regeneration. That's going to be impressive. Whatever they're planning is going to be really cool. So anyway, with that said, however, David Bradley actually had some very interesting things to say. Obviously, they highlighted a few bits from the interview. You can read the whole thing on the Doctor Who magazine, and this is what some of the highlights of his stuff that he said from the interview. He was talking about filling the shoes from William Hartnell. He would say, I think Hartnell wanted to have a bit more of a good time. I wanted to everize the playfulness of the Doctor. So I thought this Christmas special, there's definitely a cheeky kind of fun to the whole thing. I wanted to bring that out. I felt the weight of responsibility and did not only the man justice, but his performance too. Hartnell was one of the greatest British character actors of his time. You want to honour that. The humour in this Christmas episode is important. So obviously he's bringing back the humour from the first Doctor, which is definitely true, because that's what Hartnell described himself as a character actor. Given the fact that if you saw the docudrama, you'll know very well, if you've heard many of William Hartnell's interviews, and particularly the one they found back in the 50th anniversary, he does mention about himself being a character actor. And then he would go on to talk about the departure of Peter Capaldi in the Christmas episode, and this is what David Bradley had to say. It's been a great pleasure working with Peter. I think he is fabulous. He's got the right amount of quick witness and extraordinary, the wildness, imagination. He looks great. And then he also carries on to talk a bit more about the relationship between the first Doctor and the 12th Doctor, and he uses the term rivalry, which is really interesting. So the characters might have some sort of a rivalry going on, and well, in other terms, he basically says there's a little bit of one man upmanship. There's also a creepy atmosphere and approach to the other from being both sides, which is really interesting that they're going for this really interesting rivalry type of friendship between the first Doctor and the 12th, because obviously the first Doctor wouldn't approve of his future regenerations unless he likes what he sees. Now, obviously, now that we've come to the 12th Doctor, of course, the first Doctor is going to be a bit he's not going to be too impressed to see the 12th Doctor at first, because he'll think he's being silly in the way he's acting, right? In terms of his personality. But who knows? Maybe they'll get along on the House on Fire. I guess we'll find out for sure within the Christmas special how the First Doctor and the 12th Doctor are going to get along throughout the whole entire story. I guess we'll see how what type of images or what type of pictures we're going to see regarding the 1st and the 12th, which is going to be really cool to see. So these are the two latest pictures we've got for now, and I guess we'll probably get some more to come in the weeks to follow, because we all know that the adventure calendar is going to be kicking off in about under 2 weeks, which is really good. So that is definitely one area you may want to keep your eyes peeled on, because particularly one of those particular days on the adventure calendar, they're going to be they're going to be releasing a lot of pictures from Twice Upon a Time, so we'll definitely get loads of new images to look at regarding this year's Christmas special from Capaldi and David Bradley's side of the story, which we know that obviously Capaldi is going to have some images, even though we haven't seen any new images regarding Peter Capaldi just yet. It's only focusing on David Bradley at the moment. But either way, maybe this may give us a hint now with these images. Perhaps we might see this scene in full tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, they might show David Bradley a bit more in Children in Need tomorrow, which is possible because, I mean, we haven't really seen much of David Bradley's Doctor compared to Peter Capaldi's Doctor at the moment. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bring us a scene involving David Bradley's first Doctor performance, which would be really cool to see how that will play out, and whether that will be the opening scene for the story, which would be really interesting if David Bradley is the guy to open the story. Because, I mean, the 10th Planet was a big deal back in the 1966. So who's to say David Bradley wouldn't be the one to open the Christmas special this year? I mean, it's all possible. It's all possible for this to happen. And it'll be also interesting to see if Peter Capaldi ends up going on that set at some point. Perhaps he will. Perhaps he won't. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see what they've got to show us tomorrow regarding this year's Christmas special. Hopefully there's something really exciting waiting for us in the pipeline. Who knows? But however, though, they do confirm that there is going to be a cinema screening for the Christmas special going out from Boxing Day. And yes, it's going to be pretty much the same as what the US are getting. They're going to get Doctor Who extras and all the interviews with David Bradley, Capaldi and Moffat. So pretty much the same content as the guys in the States are having on the later part of December. So this is definitely for those guys out there who want to see it on the big screen, then be sure to check out on Boxing Day if you want to see the Christmas special on the big screen. But however, though, David Bradley, of course, he also had some comments to say about obviously Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall, the guys who are taking over Doctor Who next year. Obviously, he talked about working on Broadchurch with Jodie Whittaker, and he said she's lovely, and then he would go on to say an absolute delightful. I think she'll be fantastic, and all the emotion range you could have. She's going to be very funny as well. She is so perfect for the Doctor, really. And then obviously he talks about Chibnall by saying he's just wonderful. His scripts are so rich and financial, well drawn and focused in characters. As an actor working with Chris, you felt like you were in very good hands, as you do with Stephen. We're all in it together on Doctor Who, and everybody wants to be good. And I think Chris will be amazing. Doctor Who's future is in safe hands. So obviously he's very confident that our new showrunner definitely knows what he's doing with the Christmas special, especially given now he's already got rid of the DWSR. So, man, I think it's going to be interesting what 2018 is going to bring for Doctor Who, and especially the fact that Jodie Whittaker has already started working on her first story as the 13th Doctor, which, man, I mean, you can imagine what she'll be like with Peter Capaldi's outfit on for the entire story. That's going to be something, trying to get our head around Jodie Whittaker in Peter Capaldi's costume for her first story as the Doctor, and then gradually see that new costume develop, which is, man, that's going to be something. You know, seeing that on into, you know, this time next year, it's going to be amazing to see what we're going to be witnessing this time next year, when we'll finally enter the Jodie Whittaker era of Doctor Who. So at least we've got some good stuff there to look forward to in terms of Doctor Who content. But fact of the matter is, I mean, we're, you know, sooner or later we're going to be having some new stuff. Of course, Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat are going to be having some new Doctor Who novels coming out in the coming months, so we'll be looking forward to seeing some stuff from their side of the from their novel books for Doctor Who, which obviously most of those novel books will be revealed in due course. And obviously they've released it. Well, it's interesting because Real Time Pictures have basically released some VHS covers for the Return to Devil's End and the White Witch of Devil's End, which are they're pretty much the original VHS covers that they have made for the you know, to celebrate the release of these particular spin-offs on Devil's End, which are all a part of the DVD release, which is coming out, which has only just been released to the public. So it's kind of their way to celebrate the whole release of Devil's End by bringing these very old VHS covers to celebrate that release. But either way, we've got an exciting 48 hours to wait, I guess, people, because once this preview goes out, of course, we all know next week is going to be when BBC finally pulls the curtain on Christmas TV 2017. We know BBC have got some stuff to reveal regarding their Christmas TV lineup this year, and we know Doctor Who's a part of it, so we'll probably most likely hear some more stuff from BBC next week as well about Doctor Who's Christmas episode. And then from there, we're going to start seeing a new trailer release. We're going to see new images coming out. Doctor Who Extras is going to get released. Well, we're going to see like teaser videos about Doctor Who Extras popping up, and gradually from there, we're going to be seeing the official Christmas issue of Doctor Who magazine, which the date for that magazine, like I said, we'll hopefully be finding out very shortly what the date for this year, for the upcoming Christmas issue of Doctor Who magazine is when that's going to take place, which hopefully won't be too far off, because I mean, we are getting closer. You know, we'll gradually be getting closer to the big day, so it won't be too far off until we finally get to see Doctor Who magazine's preview about this year's Doctor Who Christmas episode, which we all know that's going to be something to see what Doctor Who magazine has to say about the story. It should be really cool indeed. So not far off. We're not far off from finding out even more big information about the story. So we're in for a long treat indeed. We're definitely in for some really cool stuff. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. And I'll catch you guys on the Children Need Special tomorrow, where we'll find out exactly what is going to be revealed in this new scene from the Christmas special tomorrow. Hopefully something really exciting is planned, we hope. So see you then. Okay, so I suppose it's time for us to come clean about when will Doctor Who magazine start talking about this year's Christmas special in terms of their Christmas issue. Well, this image right here on the back of today's Doctor Who magazine shows Pearl Mackie, which we all know is going to be in the Christmas special, is going to be interviewed about the fate of Bill Potts, and it also confirms right here and there and now that the issue will be made available December 14th in the UK. That's right, December 14th is going to be the day the Christmas bumper issue is going out to the world. December 14th, which is really good. And also it's interesting because Pearl Mackie actually says, a little quote from her interview here, it's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be quite emotional. It's definitely going to tug on some heartstrings. Okay, so supposedly this does. Well, does it mean they're going to kill Bill off? I mean, that's my only assumption. Maybe they could do it. Maybe they won't. I mean, it's it's too easy to know right now whether they're going to actually kill her off or not. But either way, we will find out soon. Definitely, we'll find out for sure if that's indeed what she's alluding towards in the next issue. I guess we'll find out December 14th what their preview is going to be regarding this year's Christmas special. But more to the point, they also announced on this magazine some stuff that wasn't revealed on the Doctor.TV, but through the magazine, they revealed that David Bradley actually had a stunt double in the Christmas special, so there is definitely some big stunts involved. And they also had some interviews with the obviously the new Ben and Polly, and obviously one of the one of the actors, Lily Travis, who's playing Polly, obviously goes on to say, and I thought it was beautiful and really tearjerker. It's a perfect balance of funny and sad. And David said it's been very emotional on set at times. The energy is really insane. And then they go to the new Ben, who's Jarvis Garfield, who basically goes on to say, in a scene we shot today, Ben is panicking. He's a bit of terrified, but I really don't know what's going on. I've got explosions happening left, right, and center. So, a lot of explosions going on in this special for sure. But it gets really interesting because, well, this is where Liv Travis would go on to say even more interesting stuff by saying, I've always seemed to have ended up in wigs. So I'm actually quite happy with this one. I felt like the missing Thunderbird's sister. And then she would go on to say this, Cybermen are here too. One, his name, Liam, is quizzing Lily about her blonde too. It's a wig, she explains. It's not your own hair, asks Cyber Liam. No, she laughs. So right there, we have official confirmation that yes, whether it is the Mondasian Cybermen, but either way, Cybermen are involved in this Christmas special. And I had an assumption that the Cybermen would be a part of this special some shape or form because, well, it kind of makes sense. You know, the Mondasian Cybermen were a part of the 10th Planet back in 1966, so therefore it kind of makes sense for that to happen. It kind of makes sense that, yes, the Mondasian Cybermen are going to be the main threat in this special one way or another. So, yeah, this is definitely going to happen, my friends. We're definitely getting a Cybermen return in the Christmas special, just like we all assumed for weeks now that this was going to be what we had in our heads for a while. So it's good to finally know that yes, Cybermen are coming in this Christmas special one way or another. But then obviously David Bradley would say some more about the Christmas special by some other stuff he said within this interview would be, I would like to think I would watch it with pride and say I'm being honored in a good way. After all, I did start it all. Whether he was given credit for it or not, I would take it. I'm sure I wouldn't blame him. Yes, there is a rivalry. I'm the Doctor. No, I'm the Doctor. I'm the first. Yes, but there's a little bit of one man up. So it's basically going back to that interview that Doctor.TV had pointed out. But either way, it's really exciting. It's really exciting to see that, you know, David Bradley is being honored in this Christmas special, and it's so good to see these scenes in full. It's just wow. I think we're in for it. Like I said, we're in for a treat this Christmas. I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, there's obviously a lot of emotion to it because of the fact that, of course, they've got to have the first Doctor's regeneration, then they've got the 12th Doctor's regeneration, so 2 regenerations in one. And man, I can't wait to see what Doctor Who magazine has to say in their next issue. Hopefully, there's going to be a lot of more pictures revealed. I'm definitely expecting more pictures to come out from Doctor Who magazine in the next one, so we'll find out for sure. But anyway, tune in, everyone, to Children in Need, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow when we'll finally see what is being revealed about Twice Upon a Time. Okay, Doctor Who fans, before we actually officially end this news report, something else has been developing over the last couple of hours. Fraser Hines, man, what are you teasing, my boy? Because Fraser Hines has basically been teasing like mad today. Some weird stuff that he's doing at the BBC. He literally wrote this earlier today. I at the BBC for a show that I'll tell you about later. And if we take a good look at his Twitter account, there hasn't really been any details of exactly what this show, well, what he's actually doing at the BBC for, because a lot of people speculated, could he be doing something for Children in Need? I mean, there is a possibility there that he might be doing some sketch for Children in Need that is going to be shown tomorrow, which it's a possibility they may be doing last-minute Children in Need hype just to get Fraser Hines to do something with, perhaps to have like a special reunion for Fraser Hines and Doctor Who would be a great way to celebrate his comeback to the show by doing a Children in Need special. But the problem is we haven't really, the thing about that is that we would have been told if there was a Doctor Who special this year, if we like I said, we would have been told if this was going to happen. So I'm starting to wonder whether this is to do with something that's going to air possibly at Christmas or next year, something that's going to come up early next year, sometime in the new year, like some kind of program that's going to hype up something, like some kind of hype is going towards Fraser Hines for this news. Because, and I also find it funny, and you'll notice here, he actually retweets some tweets saying, please be Doctor Who, please be Doctor Who. And he even retweets a tweet talking about bringing back Jamie McCrimmon. So the fact that he's retweeting stuff about fans' hope for him to come back to Doctor Who, is that any indication that maybe we're going to see Jamie McCrimmon back in Doctor Who possibly next year? I mean, is it possible that Chris Chibnall could be bringing Fraser Hines back to Doctor Who after several years? I mean, that would be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy if he brings back Fraser Hines after so many years since he last did Doctor Who. Man, I would be absolutely amazed if Chris Chibnall is serious at bringing back Fraser Hines to Doctor Who. Then boy, oh boy, I'm so excited for next year if Fraser Hines is coming back, because I'm not going to lie, I actually like Jamie McCrimmon. I mean, he's quite a funny chap. He's a really cool character to get to know in Doctor Who. I really like his character from the 60s episodes, and I would love to see what Fraser Hines, what Jamie McCrimmon would get up to with a female Doctor Who. I mean, that would be something, wouldn't it? Just to think of Fraser Hines joining forces with Jodie Whittaker. That would be incredible. Seriously, that would be an incredible combination. That would be really good. If this is going to be a way to get fans behind Jodie Whittaker by bringing Fraser Hines into Doctor Who, then I'm all for it. I'm all for this idea of having a familiar face from Doctor Who's past coming back to help Jodie Whittaker get the fans behind her. I think that's a really good idea. I like if this is indeed what Chris Chibnall's trying to do, then I actually like this idea. I like this idea of bringing back familiar faces from Doctor Who's classic past and using them as a like a pay way to try and get fans to like this new era of Doctor Who, an era that can bring back possibility reunions, like the Doctor reuniting with Jamie McCrimmon and the Doctor reuniting with Ace and all these familiar faces from the past, which I quite like that idea. I quite like it. So there's potential here that this could be it. But also thinking about it, it has been a long time since Fraser Hines has ever talked about the BBC in detail, because I'm pretty sure Fraser Hines hasn't been on the BBC for a very long time. given that the reason why I'm saying that is because the last time we actually seen Fraser Hines featured on a BBC channel was back in the 50th anniversary when he and Deborah Waitlin, who was around at the time, who sadly passed away this year. I know it's really sad still that she's no longer with us. It's going to be so strange not to see her, not to hear her voice with Fraser Hines anymore when any newly found Doctor Who gets emerged. But and in fact, that was when we last saw Fraser Hines on the BBC. Was when they revealed the Enemy of the World and the Web of Fear's return to the BBC archives, and that was the time Fraser Hines last appeared on a BBC channel on BBC News when he was at the BFI with Deborah Waitlin, talking about the return of those episodes. So I'm beginning to wonder now if this is indeed Doctor Who, but if it's nothing to do with Series 11, because supposedly they're currently filming in Newport right now. But obviously, it's good. It's good that no one from DWSR is reporting about it. I'm glad that they're, following the rules as they're expected to. But I'm beginning to wonder now. What if this is not New Who related? What if this is Classic Who related? What if this is Fraser Hines possibly doing something to help promote a classic release of Doctor Who? And when I say classic release, I'm wondering if this is Fraser Hines possibly hinting towards that idea, or perhaps BBC have called Fraser Hines to reveal something about, talk about a classic episode of Doctor Who that hasn't been around for some time, because we do, keep this in mind. Fraser Hines has got quite a few missing stories in his era of Doctor Who. So what if they're doing something to talk about? Maybe they're going to do a program to make fans believe, this could be to make fans believe it's an autobiography about Fraser Hines, but then at the same time they're going to reveal something big about his era of Doctor Who. Perhaps this could be a way for them to announce that, hey, we've managed to receive some old Jamie McCrimmon episodes back in our archives. Would you like to see, sort of scenario? Which I hope so. I really hope this is what BBC have got in mind, because if this is what BBC are trying to get Fraser Hines to be a part of, then man, that's going to be something. That's going to be something if they're actually going to get Fraser Hines to reveal his longly lost episodes of Doctor Who. Then, man, I can't wait to see what they found. I can't wait to see if this is what Phil Morris has been planning, is to try and get something revealed at the very start of next year, which is, I kind of actually think that might be a good idea, because if you think about it, we haven't really got any we haven't really got anything to look forward to after the Christmas special, because once the Christmas special is done, we're not going to see Doctor Who until end of summer, early autumn. Therefore, this would be a perfect opportunity for BBC to have some classic Doctor Who content to be released on DVD. So in a way, you've got a perfect gap here where you could have classic Doctor Who to be shown on TV leading up to the new series of Doctor Who. So if BBC are going to do what I think they're going to do, this might lead to maybe some classic Doctor Who content popping up on the BBC channels. And if this is indeed what they're doing, then that's good news. That's really good news. I'll take that as good news if this is what BBC are doing. If this is if they're indeed bringing classic Doctor Who back to their channels, then that is really good. That means we're going to finally get to relive Jamie McCrimmon's reign on Doctor Who from the past, which I think is going to be really good if they're indeed bringing that up. Or this, or but then at the same time, the fact that he says it's for a show, surely this would be a good platform, you know, a show to reveal longly lost classic Doctor Who content. It does sound reasonable. It sounds reasonable for a BBC standard to have that happen. But then at the same time, this could be just for a children's show. You know, this could be something for CBBC or CBeebies for that matter. But I just, knowing Fraser Hines, I wouldn't think he would go straight full on for a children's show. I really think he wouldn't. I just don't think it would be somewhere along those children's show thing. And given the fact he's been retweeting stuff about Doctor Who, I'm guessing this is somewhat Doctor Who related, if this is indeed what Fraser Hines is teasing here. If these retweets are anything to go by, then it's Doctor Who related, I think. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and I'll see you all tomorrow with that Children in Need special. Fingers crossed. Please, Fraser Hines, let it be Doctor Who related, please. Anyway, see you then.